Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Stevie.
And I'm JayJay.
And this is Chismosas y Mimosas.
Alright guys, so today we are talking about bisexuality. And the stigma that surrounds it.
So JayJay, what are we drinking today?
Well, today's drink is a mermaid mimosa. Basically what it has, and Stevie's actually drinking this today, guys. It's not just me with the extra. So there is Midori with some pineapple juice, with the champagne, and some curacao.
So let's go ahead and bring in our guest, Brandon. So this is our guest, Brandon.
Hi, Brandon.
What's up?
Go ahead and let the people know who you are and what you're all about.
My name is Brandon Murciaga. I know I have a really interesting last name and like a basic first name. It's just, hello, my name is Brandon Murciaga.
Say it regular?
Burciaga.
Say it regular. Say it American.
Say it in English, please.
Yeah, and I am a LGBT advocate, dancer, model, instructor, bisexual person.
Oh, my kind of man. Which brings us into our topic. So you identify as a
bisexual male.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
I'm very proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
So being a bisexual male, you got to get a lot of stigma for that, right?
No, not at all. I mean, yes, it's never ending. It's never ending.
Tell me about it. I mean, I feel like I get it a lot too. With friends who just can't accept it.
Your friends?
I'm gonna get such a shitty end of this fucking
I mean, she really is though, because she hates bisexuals.
That is, stop saying that. That is not how I feel.
What did you say? We should have had it on like hidden camera earlier. Her rant about bisexuals.
I said I've had negative stigma with bisexuality, and it's only from personal experiences in the past. So I apologize, but I'm just gonna say that.
No, but that's not all you said.
I don't need to have a Kanye moment, okay?
I mean, did you have negative stuff with males? Is that why you're less?
No, I have no.
Well then. Well then. But I mean, just saying. I'll go easy. We have similar hair.
No, JayJay gives me a lot of shit because she says I shouldn't have anything towards the bisexual. I should have an issue with cheaters.
That's her problem.
However, all the people that I was with that were cheaters were bisexual. And regardless if they cheated with a man or a woman, they still did it. I still had an issue with it, and that's why I have such a stigma with it.
Wait, I'm gonna fight you.
Shit, here it comes.
Do it.
Wait, so you said even if they cheated on you with somebody that was the same sex or not, that was a cheater. But then that's just any cheater. So the question to you is, I don't know. We'll
Go ahead, ask me.
We'll get deeper later.
So you don't have a problem with bisexuals. You have a problem with cheating.
Yes, I have a problem with cheating, but the people who cheated on me were all bisexual.
And there really is a difference with being with a girl who's just having fun. You know, and she's like, oh, I love girls. And yeah, she's all up in your cooch one day, but the next day she has a dick in her mouth.
Oh.
I don't know. I consider the people that I were with for 3.5 years and 2 years to not be just some random, like, just having fun.
Are you still with them?
No, but I'm...
Then it was just having fun.
So you're telling me, like, being in a relationship for 3.5 years was just having fun?
You're telling me that was a valid relationship that you were in for 3.5 years?
But we know who we're talking about here.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And you're really calling that a valid relationship?
No. But I'm saying, like, that was a relationship. And there were a lot of...
It was a relationship where she was a hoe. I don't care how long you were with her, she was a hoe.
Yeah, you were with her hoeing.
Maybe it's the person choosing.
I was not hoeing. I witnessed her hoeing. Yes, I did. But I did not
benefited from that hoeing.
I did because I got free shit because she was a hoe.
I mean, we all love free shit from hosts.
Apparently we don't need Brandon here for this subject, so let's get back to Brandon. Let me tell you, this is going to be a really
interesting... Nice. I'm just sitting here sipping my drink.
Isn't this good though?
But I mean, maybe it's not the people, it's just the person choosing the people.
Damn, come for me. Baby, you hear that, baby? Sounds like now they're coming for you, baby.
I mean, sometimes you're like, I pick amazing people, and then they're not.
No,
Because
I
I tend to
mean,
pick people who are kind of crazy, and it's, I mean, sorry if any of my exes are watching. You know, though. I tend to pick kind of crazy people sometimes, and my friends are like, maybe it's not the other people, and you're just choosing the wrong person.
right. What's the saying, like, that they say, like, doing the same thing over again is like a sign of insanity? What's
Yeah,
that?
it's a definition
Oh, when you
of
do the
insanity.
same thing over and over again, expecting different results?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so in like looking at it now, from my perspective now, yes, I was picking people solely based off of their appearance. I was very shallow, like I'm not gonna lie. And yes, I ended up with a lot of women who told me they were lesbians, but then later told me they were bisexual, and then in the course they were cheating on me with a woman, or they were cheating on me with a male, and it was the same thing that kept happening over and over again. So then I went through a period of my life where I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm just gonna date, I'm just gonna have fun. And in that period I did. Everyone was open and honest, and the relationships, they weren't like, you know, committed relationships, but they were like, you know, we were dating and having a good time, but everyone knew of each other, where it was more like, okay, I like this. And then I just so happened, without looking, came, you know, that's when I met Reina, and fucking 9.5 years later, like, you know, here we are. So, but yes, like yes, I cannot just say like it was just their fault. Like I made choices of my own,
Choices.
you know, and yes, my choices were awful choices. And I ended up in situations that where bisexuality became a stigma for me. I apologize. Like I said before, I'm trying to be more open and understanding, and not to just blanket a whole community solely
Don't
for
blankets.
you know, because of my personal experience. So
Generalize.
stop attacking me.
I mean, I totally understand your negative stigma, and that's the negative stigma that
Yes.
is out there today
Okay.
with bisexuals.
I think you're not alone though, because
not.
I mean, you speak on behalf of personal experiences of things, right? But
Yes.
I feel like, let's just think larger, right? So the general public has also a stigma because of what they see on social media, on movies, on TV, anything like that. So I always give the example of if you're straight and you happen to live in middle America or whatever, and you don't even know anybody who's bi, but you see something on TV where it's like there's a bi guy or whatever, and he's like with this girl, and then all of a sudden she walks in and he's with the guy in a room, and they're like, oh my god, he's bi. That's the first thing you have in your mind of like, oh, that's what bi is. Bi is when you're, you know, promiscuous, and when you can't choose, and you're just kind of like, well, I'm confused, so I'm just gonna do both and just see what happens, right? Like, so that's what I think. It's a bigger picture. So like I feel for you, but I think as a community, as just like a nation, that's what we see, because
That's what's portrayed.
yeah, it's what's portrayed.
And it also, and what you say, it does happen in the community.
Yeah.
There's a lot of haters
It's-
within the community.
It's not
That's a
just
whole different topic.
outside.
It really
You'd
is.
really, like, you think that we're fighting a battle for the outside of what we're dealing with?
No.
There's
Not at all.
there's a completely huge stigma within its own community, which is really sad to say. It
There's a lot of
Yeah.
people
It happens a lot.
who say, I'll never date a bisexual.
Once again, back to the stigma is from personal experiences in the past. I just don't feel a need to go
No, I
through
know,
it
but
again. I don't plan on ever dating anybody
Close-minded.
ever again anyway.
That's a good save. That's a good save.
I wasn't gonna say, but it's the truth. I'm like,
When I say I'm bisexual, people are like, oh, I don't like to date bis.
I'm like, I don't want to date you, motherfucker.
Okay, well, I don't like to date rude people either,
Thank you,
but
rude.
thanks for
Rude.
being close-minded. No, but there's like a lot of things that play into it, because, for instance, 40% of the LGBT community is bi, which is a large percent. 40%.
It's almost half.
That's literally almost half.
Yeah.
I always talk about when you're a kid, right? So you're brought into the world, and you're brought typically into the straight heterosexual world, because that's not that it's right. It's just that that's what it is. So your family, your TV shows is boy and girl. Your cartoons, the toys, anything
The
like
colors
that.
that
Yeah,
you're
anything like
associated
that.
with
It's like
since birth, yeah.
boy, girl. That's how it's supposed to be. Until another door opens, you don't have any idea what the other doors have behind it, right? So it's like, maybe it's a bi door, because eventually somewhere down the road you met somebody who said, oh, I'm bisexual, and you're like, what does that mean? Oh, okay, if you identify with that, cool. If you don't, some people walk through and say, that's not my room, I'm gonna go back. But until those doors are open, you have no idea what they are. So that's kind of the whole thing where I feel like bisexuality it's a long time process to see what, because typically that door's not open. it's usually the gay door because of TV shows, you know, or movies or things like that. By that point, everybody's been in the gay door and the lesbian door that they're like, nah, you're in one of these for sure. Like, stop kidding yourself. Like, you know, so that's the whole.
Because everyone has to be. It's like I totally get what you're saying, because it's like a lot of my time I've been with more women than I have with men,
okay.
And I've always like associated myself more like as a lesbian, but even in the back of my mind I always knew like that's not 100%. I do like being with a woman, but then there is an attraction to men,
yeah.
And I've been with men, and I have a boyfriend now, and I have a family, and we have a son, and I'm completely in love with him, and I don't, you know, but it's like it's still like not 100% me. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just some like broader spectrum that we're looking, and we're just so quick to put these labels, you know, like bisexual and lesbian, and even like now looking into all like the other ones like pansexual, because I could maybe consider myself like.
We'll go on that subject later. We'll touch
Look at now, bisexuals have a problem with pans.
I don't have a problem. We'll just talk. We'll talk.
But I'm just saying, like, because I feel like I won't discriminate against any type of connection.
We as society are like, I don't know where to put you, so you have to put yourself into a box so I can understand you. But that's not really how it should be. It should be the opposite. It should be, I'm this person, and they say, okay, I feel like there's a black or white. It's the gay or the straight. Yeah. Anything in between is the gray area, which is like a danger area, because it's like I don't know where to put you, so therefore you're a danger to me because
and you get the
I don't
stigma
understand.
on both sides.
Yeah, totally.
Stigma on both sides, is in from straight and from gay?
Yes. So all my straight friends are like, but remember when you were dating that one girl and like you guys were like all the time and this and that, you look so cute together? Like, come on, you're just really confused, right? Or the gay guys, all my gay friends, I love my gay boys, but they're just like, but you dated that one guy and you always be hooking up with this person, this and that, and we go to WeHo because that's where we go and go hang out. So they're just like, yeah, you're totally gay, like you're just confused. Come on, girl, please.
It's
like,
always confused.
So it's always, yeah.
It's always like, you don't know what you want, or it's like, no, I do know what I want. That's why I'm with both. You know, and it's like,
then there's the gays too that are like, pussy, ew, like, you know,
never.
Like,
yeah, you get the same thing with the lesbians. I'll never look at it. But an orgasm is an orgasm. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna get it with the strap on. It's
okay.
Yeah, but it's what's attached to that phallic thing. So.
Ooh. And what is attached to it?
I mean, it's that masculinity on the other side of it.
Like, there's a lot of negative from it within our own community where people are like how you said, you're confused, or like I've gotten it a lot where it's like, what do you prefer? Do you lean more this way or that way? And then you find yourself like, yeah, like identifying kind of like that. But then that kind of like, it's always like you're just saying it just to get them happy with their perception of it. Trying to like fit their like...
But even the word itself, bisexual, people are like 50-50. You have to like have 50-50. Yeah. But that's not true.
It isn't.
You could like somebody romantically and not sexually. And vice versa. You can be like, I'm totally sexually attracted to you, but I would never date you.
Yeah.
Like... And that's fine, and that happens in the straight world too, by the way.
Yeah, it does.
So, but even like pansexual stuff, okay, so like myself, I'm attracted and have dated people who are trans. But I don't consider myself pansexual. I can still consider myself bisexual. Why? Because I choose to see people as they portray themselves.
Yes.
So if they're a trans woman or trans man, I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm pansexual because that's a trans person. That's kind of like outing somebody. I like to say, you went through your life to transition into whatever you transition to, so then I'm gonna identify you as you choose to. Yes. So I see a female
that's a good point.
and a male. I'm not like, oh, I'm actually like it's. I don't know. That's my.
Because then it becomes a fetish.
Yes.
Becomes very fetish where you're like, oh, I'm dating this person because they're trans, or I'm dating this person.
That a lot.
Yeah.
People are like, I think.
Or like guys want to date me because they're like, oh, she's bisexual, so a guy wants to be with me because I automatically think I'm gonna have a threesome, and I'm like, that's not really how it works. Like, I'm not about that
with another dick.
Because I'm like,
Wait, let's touch on that. So, so that's your side of the coin, right? My side is opposite. So, I think it's a very dangerous thing, to be quite honest, when you have bisexual women because they're hypersexualized.
Yes. And that's not true at all. Because I could not have sex with both.
That's true.
Hold on, I slowed down. Hypersexualized as in like they're...
Okay, so I'm a guy and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And she's like, oh, da da da. We start talking, and she's like, oh, I'm bi, and I'm like, oh yes, bonus. I got another girl too.
Yeah.
It's like automatic.
It gets to that, like, oh, threesome.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's
and
not
it
gonna
puts
happen.
people in a very dangerous situation.
Yeah.
But then you flip the coin, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, yeah, what's up? And let's just say you're straight. And I'm like, yeah, you know, my ex, I don't know, Josh or whatever. They're gonna be like, oh, you dated a guy. Then it goes a whole other side, and they're like, oh, well, now you're gay. So that's
Yeah.
okay. Well, it was cool, nice meeting you. There is a lot more rape victims in the bisexual culture compared to a lot of the other LGBT people in the community. So we're the highest people for highest rape. Even when it comes to, like, for instance, I have a friend who went to the doctor, bisexual female, went to the doctor, did a whole intake with this doctor. At the end of it, they said, oh wait, you're bi. The doctor went back
To double check.
and double checked every question she asked and said, okay, so has it really been this many partners? Was it really a guy? Was it this and that? And she was like, what the hell? Like, so it...
What was the difference in asking the question?
Exactly. Like, but it's just like that. Like, it's a whole different side of the coin. It brings you into a different realm, but
It just brings you like you feel dirty. Like people look at you like you're dirty, or you're just like a hoe or something, or you're just gonna like sleep with everyone. Then like I can't be with you because you're gonna fuck my sister, my brother, and my mom and my dad.
Right.
You know, and
you're
it's like that's
wait,
not.
what?
I mean, it's the same thing as being a straight person in a straight relationship. Like you can worry about someone fucking someone else regardless. You know, it's the main thing that comes down to is people have a problem with infidelity, and they're more scared of bisexuals because they feel like because we like both that we're just open to everything. Like anybody, come on, guy or girl, you know. And it's like it's not like that. It's not like
the doors are open.
yeah, like just because I'm bi doesn't mean I'm like a nympho because I need sex so much I'm not satisfied anywhere. You know, like no.
What I found interesting was you were talking about something where you're like you feel pressured into picking a side.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
JayJay and I generally, when we do these episodes, we come up with questions to ask, our guests. But because she is bisexual, she's questioning on her own experiences. And then there was me. I found one of the questions to be very interesting was I had asked, do you have a preference more over the other? And then JayJay's was, do you feel pressured to pick a side? And it's basically almost the same question.
Yeah.
However, she finds it as, are you hate just constantly being told like what side are you on? And me, I was like, so what side are you on?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And I kind of, when I was reading these questions, I was going, fuck, I can kind of see where the difference is.
Yeah.
You know, especially because this is a personal experience for her, and then I'm the person standing on the outside wondering.
Totally.
So I think that in the community, we ourselves aren't very educated on the bisexual portion of our community, and we should be more.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't be so Stevie in certain situations about blanketing a community solely from personal experiences or from what we've seen in movies, because I really hate how people portray a majority of lesbians in the movies, because
Yeah, it's the same thing.
it's really annoying, and I'm pretty sure it goes for gay men as well. So I think if we're gonna make a change, it has to start within our own community and then outwards from there, because how else are we gonna be accepted on the outside?
It's
if
just
we're not
acceptance and
accepting?
understanding from every aspect.
Yeah.
There's other things like Jessie J. You know Jessie J?
She's a singer.
She's a singer.
Yeah.
But she was in a relationship with a female for years. And then when she got a little bit bigger, she kind of dropped her. And then the media was like, hey, what happened to your girlfriend? And she was like, oh, well, that was just a phase. And I wasn't really into it. I was kind of confused, I guess. So that wasn't a thing. I'm not bi. I'm totally straight. Don't worry about it. Da, da, da. That kind of
That
sucks.
I feel that's the pressure that some people are forced into, though.
True.
You
But
know?
then think about it on the other side. Think of the partner, right? So, for instance, think of the partner. See? Think of the partner. Like, how does that feel for you to be totally just not even
Brushed
thought
aside.
about?
Yeah.
Brushed
Like,
aside.
I was
Like,
just
everything that we
passing
had,
phase.
you were my phase. Sorry. Like,
Yeah.
that
Like everything
sucks.
was like it's completely no longer valid.
Now, granted, there's a lot of people who do go through phases, which is cool. We respect you and we see you too. But it's unfortunate when people use bi as a crutch.
Yes, because then that's the negative stigma that
And then
also
it
comes
creates
down.
more with us.
Yeah, but we in the community also use it as a crutch ourselves, because I can honestly say when I first came out, I used it as a crutch. It was that whole let me soften the blow by stating
Yeah.
I'm bisexual, that I'm interested in women.
Yeah.
And that I'm not gay, that I'm
yeah.
just, experiencing things. And then after that, I went through the portion where I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not into dudes at all. So then I was like, okay, I don't need that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lesbian, this is who I am. But then we completely turn our backs to it. And we kind of give it like that whole negative stigma when we ourselves have used it.
That's true, but at the same time, it's also a safety thing at times,
It is,
right?
yeah.
It's a safety thing. Unfortunately for the
We were there
LGBT
to cradle
community,
you.
yeah, we were there. We were there to push you against our bosom, my shishis. Some people would say, it may be a little bit easier if I say that I'm bi, so then somebody can relate to me and they can say, well,
Because
I
they
date
think
girls
it's so
too.
relatable, but it's not.
Exactly.
I think I would honestly have an easier time if I were to just say, okay, I'm 100% straight, or okay, I'm 100% gay.
Totally.
Because then you can wrap your head around that. But because I'm 100% both, I could honestly say, like, I'm in a relationship now with a man, and I've been with him for 7 years, and I love him to death, and I love his dick, and and it's like...
TMI.
But
I love that dick.
I
That was
love
more
that
than I needed.
dick.
He's gonna
And
come home
it's
and I'm gonna be like,
But I can still, looking at his dick.
no, I'm gonna just look at him and be like,
Don't be looking at that dick, bitch. But it's like I'm all about him. Like my whole world is about him, So it's like that's me now. That's who I am. But like you were asking me earlier, me and Stevie got into a debate about this.
because I already knew what this episode was
And
gonna
she
be.
was like, I hate, and I can understand where you're coming from this. She doesn't like it when she meets a girl and they're like, I'm lesbian and I'm all about pussy. But then they cheat on her with a man. Yes.
Well, they've cheated either way. What I don't, let me rephrase that. I don't like when they tell me they're a lesbian when I meet them and I'm dating them, and then some point in the relationship they go into this whole
because
they've
they're
been with
comfortable
men.
now to introduce themselves as bisexual. Because at first,
Bitch, you should have told me from the get-go.
But then you would have been gone. You wouldn't have even gave them a chance.
Yeah, but I mean, look at what happened in the end.
But regardless, you prove the point and prove the point at the same time.
Did I?
Because it's like they don't want to tell you, because then boom, you're fucking automatically put them in this box, which they've already fell into. But that's your choice on who.
Oh, but I put that. Wait, but so I put them in the box to create that whole drama that they create.
Listen to what I'm saying. Don't get all defensive about women cheating on you with men.
Well, don't get so defensive when I have my own. Like, come on. Sit back, Brandon. Hold your drink.
You've already said you. Okay, I'm not defending these girls that you've dated because I know one of them, and yeah, that bitch was a hoe. Regardless, she wasn't bi, she's just a hoe.
She was an opportunist. If you really want to say it, she was an opportunist.
But there are some girls who are bi, okay, who are bi.
I'm not saying that they're not.
Let's just say, and then they meet you, and you're a great person, and they want to be with you. But your whole stigma already is, I'm never gonna date a bi. So of course she's not gonna tell you she's bi.
But they didn't know that when I met them.
You're very vocal about it.
I don't say that everywhere I go.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying you walk around saying I hate bi.
It's not like I fucking put in an application and see, like, can you mark where you fucking
But
land?
I'm just like,
we're talking about
girl.
old Stevie.
Old Stevie, you would ask them.
Yes, because of that one situation. Like I
Okay,
said,
so
that fucking
already
thing
you're coming
created
at
a
them like,
stigma.
But me and Juan are completely open in our relationship because we were best friends for 5 years before we got together.
Yeah.
He knew me as a lesbian. I had a girlfriend. We would go out and I would hook up with girls in front of him, and he had girls that he was hooking up with. We've even like hooked up with the same girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, we were friends. Like, we were friends. So he knows completely my history. Does it still bother him to this day, even knowing that? Yes. It still does, because he's so afraid that I'm gonna leave him for a girl. But I'm just like,
Why is it okay for him to feel that way, but not okay for me to feel that way?
I'm in a relationship with him. You're not in a relationship with a bisexual person.
No, but like you were so much, did you hurt her tone when she said it?
I did.
And then, yeah, because I don't have to coddle you. I don't give a fuck if you give a shit if I'm bi or not. I give a shit how he feels about it, because that's my man and we're in a relationship and I gotta tend to his needs. I don't gotta tend to yours.
Yeah, girl, comfort me. You're my best friend. You're supposed to fucking coddle. No, actually, don't coddle me. We're rough.
I don't coddle you, bitch.
We
I
don't
don't
coddle each
coddle
other.
you.
That's what makes
But
this
I'm just
friendship work.
Next time.
Because he's so afraid that I'm gonna leave him for a girl, and I'm like, what the fuck is the difference?
But why is my fear any less? Why should my fear of that be any less than his?
It's not. I'm not saying it is any less. It is not any less. You're taking that that's a personal thing on you.
Yes,
it has nothing to do with.
state that in the beginning.
We did.
But that's what I'm saying. So then,
I'm just gonna not. I'm not gonna win in this. Like I'm just not. I already knew this was gonna happen.
I'm just saying, like in my personal experience, I'm not about that cheating. Like, I'm not about to cheat on the father of my son with a woman. You know, and he
Okay, but
doesn't
wait
have
a
to,
minute.
like-
Okay, but wait a minute. But you being bisexual, did you not cheat?
Yeah, I did. But that had nothing to do with me being bisexual. I'm not saying I'm a cheater because I'm bisexual. That had nothing to do with that. I cheated because I was a cheater.
6.5 hours later.
So, what are your personal issues of bisexuals? When you get a chance, put it
Put it in the comments,
Put it in
guys.
the comments.
If
Just
you
some
have
questions,
issues.
and then we can answer them, and then we can go from there.
We've talked a lot about like bisexuality and stuff. Are there any closing thoughts you have about bisexuality, or to anybody who doesn't understand it, or anybody who's maybe struggling with it?
Well, if you were having thoughts about maybe you think you're bisexual, or maybe you were and you are, and you're just kind of hiding it because your friends or family or whatever it is pushing you back, just own up to it, because in the end, it's hard to not be you. You know, like, no one can do you better than you. Mm-hmm. So at the same time, just really figure out your life, your options, your decisions, and then go from there. I know we live in a really crazy world right now, but even then, like, smaller, our own community is very like, no. Fight those, you know? Like, don't sit back and be like, okay, like, I have a lot of friends and patients and everything that are just gonna go, I guess I'm gay. Don't be that person. Fight for yourself and be like, no, I'm really not, and this is why. But again, if you have any questions, issues, check out some local groups or online websites like Binet USA or anything like that. But if anything, hit me up if you want. Hit her up and say like, hey, by the way, I saw this and I need a little help, little direction. You know, again, my name is Brandon Burciaga. That's Burciaga. Find me on Instagram and then ask me questions, or add me or follow me, or just be like, hey, I like your hair. Who's your hairstylist? I don't know.
Anyways, guys, we want to thank you guys all for tuning in today. We want to thank Brandon for coming on the show, for enlightening us on so much information about the bisexual community and his sexuality. Look at him. I'm starting to rethink things, babe. No. But we really appreciate you coming on, and
thanks for having me.
Totally appreciate it.
we'll leave all of Brandon's contact information down on the bottom, so you guys can contact him if you have questions about your own sexuality, or if you want to know more
Or if
about
you're
his
single
touches.
and you're ready to mingle,
Oh!
let me know. Or if you have friends, let me know too. 'Cause I'm single for life.
And so don't forget, guys, to leave us a like,
Subscribe.
and we'll see you guys next time on Chismosas y Mimosas.
Yes.
Desiree
Anyways,
What
here
are
we
doing?
go.
What's going on?
Cute as Stevie being drunk. Like you should my neck,
My bad.
like my pussy and my